You don't wake up to an alarm. You wake up to crying. It's dark. It's cold. The kind of cold that doesn't care about your blanket, it finds your skin anyway, settles into your bones, makes you feel older than you are. You lie still for exactly 1 second. 1 second is all you get. Then your feet hit the floor. The floorboards groan. You know every sound this house makes now, every creak, every draft, every place where the wind gets in through the gaps the bombs left. You navigate by memory because there's no electricity. There hasn't been for weeks. Maybe longer. You've stopped counting. Your sibling is in the corner. Small. Curled up tight the way children do when they're trying to be brave and failing. You cross the room in 6 steps. Hey. Your voice is quiet. Low. You learn to keep it low. Sound carries at night. Sound invites questions. Questions invite attention. Attention is the last thing you want. They're shaking. Not just from the cold. You press your hand to their back. Feel the rise and fall. Feel for the rhythm that tells you they're still here. Still okay. You do this every single morning. You have done this so many times that your hand moves before your mind does, muscle memory built from fear. They look up at you. I'm hungry, they say. 3 words. Simple. Devastating. You nod. You say, I know. I'll find something. You say it like it's a promise. Like you have the power to keep it. Like hunger is a problem you can solve if you just try hard enough. You stand. You walk to the corner where the food is kept, a tin box, a cloth, whatever you've managed to carry home. You open it. You stare. Almost nothing. A crust of bread, hard as stone. A little grain. Not enough for 1 person, let alone 2. You close it slowly. You don't let your face change. They're watching you. If this kind of storytelling hits different for you, the kind that puts you inside history instead of just reading about it, you might want to stick around. Drop a subscribe if you're new. Every chapter gets heavier from here. Morning has a routine now. Not the kind of routine that makes life easier. The kind that keeps you from thinking too much. Keep thinking and you start calculating, how many days the food lasts, how many days before someone notices how thin you've both become, how many days before almost nothing becomes actually nothing. So you don't think. You move. First, water. The bucket near the window. You boil it over the small fire you build with whatever wood you found the day before, broken furniture, pieces of fence, things that used to belong to someone and now belong to no one. The water isn't safe. You know that. You boil it anyway and tell yourself the boiling is enough. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. That uncertainty lives in your chest now, quiet and constant. Second, food. You split what's in the tin into portions. You are precise about this. Not because you want to be, because you have to be. Every gram matters. You set your sibling's portion to the side first, always, before anything else. More than half. More than fair. They look at your smaller pile. That's not enough for you, they say. I already ate, you say. You didn't. They know you didn't. You both know you didn't. But the lie holds because it has to. Because if the lie breaks, they'll give their portion back, and then neither of you eats enough, and tomorrow becomes worse. So the lie is a kindness. You've made peace with that. You watch them eat. There is a specific kind of pain in watching someone you love eat slowly because they're trying to make it last. No child should know how to ration their own food. No child should understand portion sizes as a matter of survival. But this one does. This one learned. You taught them. You're still not sure if that's something to be proud of. They finish. They look up. Their eyes are still bright, still a child's eyes, still holding something soft that the world hasn't quite reached yet. You want to protect that. Whatever that is. You'd do anything to protect that. Today, that means leaving. Going outside. Finding more food, no matter what it takes. You reach for your coat. The street used to have a name. You still remember it. You just don't say it anymore. Names belong to places that still exist. What's out here now is something else, the skeleton of a neighborhood, the memory of a street. Rubble where a bakery used to be. A wall with a window frame still standing, but no glass, no wall around it, no room behind it. Just a frame. A border around nothing. You walk close to the buildings. Always close to the buildings. You learn this early, stay near the walls, not in the middle of the road. The middle of the road is exposed. The middle of the road is for soldiers, for trucks, for people who have the authority to occupy space. You don't have that authority. You move like you're apologizing for existing. Your eyes are down, but your awareness is total. You hear boots before you see them, heavy, rhythmic, the sound of people who don't need to be quiet. A patrol. You know the pattern now. You know their routes, their timing, approximately when they change shifts. You know this not because someone told you, but because survival is a curriculum and you've been attending every class. You don't run. Running is suspicious. Running is an invitation. You walk. Steady. Purposeful. Like you belong here. Like you're going somewhere that makes sense. Ahead, 3 soldiers stand near an intersection. You adjust your path without looking like you're adjusting your path. Your heart is doing something particular in your chest, not panic, not exactly. You've moved past panic. This is something lower. A hum. A vibration in the sternum that never fully goes away. You pass without incident. You exhale. Then, movement. A commotion. 20 meters ahead, 2 soldiers leading a man away. His hands aren't tied but his body language says he knows resistance is pointless. He walks like someone who has already accepted what's coming. An older man. Someone's father. Someone's husband. He doesn't look back. You look away. You keep walking. You reach the end of the block. The food distribution point is another 4 streets down. You can already see it from here. And even from this distance, you can see the line. The line is enormous. You've been standing here for 2 hours. Maybe more. Time moves differently in a queue like this. There are no watches, yours stopped working months ago. Time is now measured in how much your back hurts, how heavy your legs feel, how far the front of the line still seems. The people around you are quiet. That's the thing you notice most, how quiet suffering is. You expected more noise. More anger. There is none. Just faces. Just eyes that have seen too much and learned to carry it without announcement. An old woman in front of you keeps gripping her coat lapels like she's trying to hold herself together. A man to your left holds a jar, empty, waiting to be filled with whatever they're distributing today. A child 2 places back has fallen asleep standing up, held upright by the press of the crowd around her. You don't speak to anyone. Speaking opens things. Opens explanations, opens needs, opens the possibility that you'll have to admit out loud how bad it is, and you're not ready to do that yet. As long as you don't say it, maybe it isn't real. Then the man beside you speaks. He's older. 60s, maybe. Worn coat. Quiet eyes. He doesn't look at you when he talks, just forward, at the line ahead. First time I waited this long, he says, I thought it was the worst part. You don't answer. But you don't move away either. I was wrong, he continues. The line isn't the worst part. You glance at him. He finally looks back at you. The worst part, he says, isn't hunger. He pauses. It's choosing who eats. You don't fully understand what he means yet. You think you do, you've been making that choice every morning with the tin box, splitting portions, lying about already eating. You think that's what he means. You're wrong. But you don't know that yet. You nod slowly, like his words are settling somewhere you can examine later. He turns back to the line. You both fall silent. Then, a sound from the front. Voices. Raised. The tone changes, that particular shift in collective energy when something is going wrong. You feel it before you understand it. The person in front of you stands on their toes to see. The line begins to compress. Someone is shouting. Boots on cobblestone, not the slow, regular rhythm of patrol. Fast. Coming this way. The hum in your chest becomes something louder. If you're feeling what I'm feeling right now, and you haven't subscribed yet, this is a good moment. Hit the button. What comes next is the chapter that changes everything. Everything happens at once. Soldiers. 4 of them. Moving fast through the crowd from the front of the line. People scatter left and right, not running, but that compressed urgent shuffling of bodies trying to create distance without appearing to flee. The difference between shuffling and running is the difference between being ignored and being selected. You shuffle. Someone's elbow catches your ribs. Hard. You absorb it without sound. You've learned not to make sound when you're hurt. Sound draws attention. You breathe through it and push forward, not toward the soldiers, toward the distribution point, toward the food, because you did not stand here for 2 hours to leave empty-handed. The crowd presses. The collective body of all these people moving in different directions at once creates a kind of current. You can't fully control where you go, you can only manage not to fall, not to lose your footing on the uneven cobblestones. Someone grabs your arm. Hard. Fingers around your wrist. You spin. An older woman. Terrified. She grabbed you not to stop you, she's falling, reaching for anything solid. You catch her. You hold her steady until she finds her feet. Go, you tell her. That direction. Go. She goes. You push forward again. The soldiers are not interested in the crowd. They're interested in something, someone, at the front of the line. Some kind of altercation, some kind of identification check. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is the chaos created in its wake is closing the distribution window. People are being pushed away. The food is being covered, the tables cleared, the guards moving people back. You push harder. You reach the front of the crowd just as the last of the distributions happens, a woman behind the table, harried, moving fast, pushing packages into hands almost indiscriminately, trying to finish before the soldiers redirect everything. She pushes something into your hands. You close your fingers around it. You have it. You actually have it. Bread. A small tin. Enough. Maybe enough. You press it against your chest like it's something sacred. You turn to leave. And then, directly in front of you, a person collapses. Not slowly. Not the graceful sinking of someone who sat down too fast. A full collapse, knees gone, then the rest, a body hitting the cobblestones hard. An older man. His head strikes the ground. He doesn't get up. He's bleeding. He's looking at you. Not at the soldiers. Not at the crowd. At you. Time doesn't stop. It doesn't slow down. What actually happens is your mind accelerates, it processes everything so fast that the world around you seems to decelerate by comparison. That's what people mean when they say time stopped. It didn't. You just became very, very present. He's on the ground. His head is bleeding, not a minor cut, not a graze. A real wound, dark and spreading on the cobblestones beneath him. His eyes are open and conscious and locked onto you with the specific expression of someone who knows they cannot help themselves and is searching the nearest face for evidence that someone will. You are holding the food. Your sibling's food. The food you have been trying to get since before dawn. The food that represents the next 12 hours of survival for someone who is waiting for you right now in a cold room with nothing. You look down at the man. You look at what you're holding. The soldiers are still at the front. Not looking this way. Not yet. If you stop, if you kneel down, if you try to help him, you will be seen. You will be noticed. That's the first risk. The second risk is time. The longer you stay, the more the chaos reshuffles itself, the more checkpoints might form between here and home. And the third risk, the food. If you put the food down to help him, someone could take it. People are desperate. You are all desperate. You are not special in your desperation, and that means no one will protect what you leave unattended on a cobblestone street. You could lose everything. He's still looking at you. The older man from the line, his voice comes back to you unbidden. Not from anywhere around you. From somewhere in your own head, now, settling into meaning. The worst part isn't hunger. It's choosing who eats. You understand now. He wasn't talking about splitting bread in a tin box. He wasn't talking about portioning grain. He was talking about this. This exact moment, this exact cobblestone, this exact set of options laid out in front of you like the world itself designed it to be impossible. You can save your sibling today. Or you can stay with this stranger. Your hands are shaking. You don't remember them starting to shake. It happened without you. The man on the ground blinks. Slow. His breathing is audible from here, wet, labored. He doesn't ask you for anything. He doesn't reach toward you. He just looks at you with those eyes that say everything without saying anything. You make a choice. The moment your body starts moving, you know what you've decided. You don't look back. You move. Your hands won't stop shaking. You notice this about 4 blocks from the distribution point, when the adrenaline begins to metabolize and what replaces it is something quieter and much worse. You press the food against your chest tighter. Partly to secure it. Partly because you need to hold something. You walk. You don't think. You try not to think. Thinking means replaying the moment your body made a decision, made it almost before you knew what you were doing, and examining it from every angle until you've determined what kind of person that decision makes you. You're not ready to do that yet. The street is quieter now. The chaos dispersed the way all civilian chaos does, quickly, silently, people absorbing the disruption back into their private routines, their private survival. By the time you're 3 streets away, it already feels like it happened to someone else. Except for the shaking. Your hands keep shaking. You stop at a corner. Press your back against the wall. Close your eyes. Breathe, 4 counts in, 4 counts out, something you learned before all this, something that still works even now, even here. The shaking slows. You open your eyes. The man on the ground. His face. The way he looked at you. You carry that now. You will carry it tomorrow. And next week. And in 3 years, when this is over, if this ends, you will still carry it. You know this with a certainty that has nothing to do with logic and everything to do with the specific weight of a moment you cannot undo. You didn't make a wrong decision. You made the only decision available to someone in your exact position, with your exact responsibilities, with your exact resources. That's what makes it so hard to carry. Not the doubt that it was wrong. The knowledge that it was reasonable. You push off the wall. You start walking again. The cold comes back, that constant, bone-deep cold you almost forgot while your body was flooded with urgency. It's back now. Cold and hunger and the sound of your own footsteps on rubble. Home is 2 streets away. You should feel relieved. You have the food. You made it. Nobody stopped you. The mission, if you can call the basic act of feeding your family a mission, succeeded. Instead, all you can think about is what you're going to find when you get home. Your sibling is alone. Has been alone for hours. You walk faster. 1 street. Half a street. Your door. You stand outside the door for longer than you should. You don't know why. Your hand is on the handle. The food is in your arms. You are home. This is the part where you go inside. But you stand there. Because in the time between your leaving and your returning, anything could have happened. A check. A soldier at the door. A sound that attracted the wrong attention. An accident. Illness. 100 things you have no control over, 100 things that could have unraveled everything while you were standing in a line and watching chaos and making impossible decisions. You've learned this about survival: it is never only one thing you're protecting against. It is everything, simultaneously, all the time, and you can only be in one place. You weren't here. You were there. The handle turns. You push. The room is dim. Cold. The same cold as always. Your eyes adjust, the blanket in the corner, the shape beneath it. Movement. You're back. Their voice. Small. Alive. You exhale. You didn't realize you'd been holding that breath since the last block. Maybe longer. Maybe since you left this morning. I'm back, you say. You hold up the food. They scramble upright. Their eyes go to the tin, the bread, and something happens in their face: relief, genuine and uncomplicated and beautiful in a way that nothing else is beautiful anymore. A child's face when they see that the person they trust came through. When they see that the world, at least in this room, at least for today, kept its promise. You sit down across from them. You split the food. You give them more. You always give them more. You eat the rest slowly and you don't taste it, and that's fine. Taste is a luxury. The point is fuel. The point is tomorrow. They eat. They talk a little, something they saw through the gap in the boards over the window, something they thought about while you were gone. You listen. You respond. You are present in the way that matters, steady, calm, here. Somewhere behind your eyes, on a cobblestone street, a man is still looking at you. You let him look. You keep eating. If this story is landing for you, if you felt something in that last moment, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share this one. Not for the numbers. Because someone else needs to feel this too. Days pass. You don't count them anymore. The routine continues. Boil the water. Ration the food. Lie about already eating. Walk the route. Avoid the soldiers. Come home. Repeat. The architecture of survival has no off days, no acknowledgement of weekends, no variation except the variation imposed by scarcity. When there is more, you adjust. When there is less, you adjust. You are always adjusting. But something is different now. You notice it in small ways. The way you look at people in the food line and see not just strangers but potential choices. If something happened right now, to them, what would I do? You run the calculation before you've decided to. Your mind does it automatically, a new reflex you didn't ask for. You notice it in the way you hold the food on the walk home. Tighter. Closer. A posture that protects. You notice it the night your sibling wakes up crying again. Same sound. Same dark. Same cold. Your feet should hit the floor in one motion, muscle memory, automatic, the way it's always been. You hesitate. 1 second. 2. Then you go. Of course you go. You cross the room. You put your hand on their back. You say, I know. I'll find something. But the hesitation was there. And you felt it. And you know what it means: the person who wakes up and moves without thinking, that person is changing. Slowly. Quietly. The way everything changes in wartime, not with a bang, not with a declaration, just a small shift, a fraction of a degree, a door that opens a little less quickly than it used to. You don't say anything about the hesitation. You calm them down. You lie back down. You stare at the ceiling until morning. You are not a soldier. Let's be clear about that. You carry no weapon. You hold no rank. No one will write your name in any official record of this war. When the history books come, and they will come, thick and detailed and full of battles and commanders and turning points. You will not be in them. You are a civilian. And here is what you have. You have survival. The daily, unglamorous, exhausting practice of still being here when the day ends. You have a sibling who is still breathing, still eating, still holding something soft in their eyes that you have fought every single day to protect. You have knowledge, not book knowledge, not strategy, but the cellular knowledge of someone who has lived inside impossible choices and made them anyway. You have guilt. You have a face on a cobblestone street that visits you in the quiet hours. You have a hesitation that didn't exist 6 months ago. You have a version of yourself you don't fully recognize yet, built from every decision you made when no good option existed. You have all of this. And here is the cost. Innocence is not taken from you in wartime. It is spent. Deliberately. In small denominations. Every morning you wake up and ration and lie and walk close to walls and make calculations about strangers. You are spending it. And one day you will reach into that place inside yourself where innocence used to live and you will find it empty. And you will not be sure exactly when it happened. That is what war does to civilians. It doesn't just take lives. It takes the version of you that existed before you had to choose. War doesn't just decide who lives. It decides who you become when someone else doesn't. If you made it to the end, thank you. Genuinely. This kind of storytelling takes everything to write and everything to feel. If it moved you, subscribe, drop a comment with the word civilian so I know you made it through, and share it with someone who needs to understand history this way. See you in the next one.